welcome back to Mortgage Ballers. This is Rich Hanlin, and I have Yvette Garay on the phone. Actually, she's live. I shouldn't say on the phone. She's live with me. She thought she was going to be on the phone, and I caught her off guard, and I said, let's record it. And look, she acts like she wasn't ready for it. She's got her makeup on. She looks fantastic. I mean, people would be like, girl, where you get that hair? I'll pay for it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm looking forward to just spending some time with you and learning more about you, allowing other people to learn more about you. I've already learned more about you in the last 5 minutes, and we're going to point some of that out. You got an incredible story and a lot going on. So thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. And thank you for doing this for me.
Right off the bat, you said something. A lot of people, we were just talking, Yvette speaks Spanish. She's bilingual. I want everybody to know that. I think that is so powerful, especially in the state of California, but that is becoming one of the most sought after things when people are doing business. I see you guys on our Facebook group. Does anybody speak Spanish? I got a Spanish speaking person. Can somebody come in? And we probably have 5 or 6 people, I think, that do out of 626. And so we'll make sure everybody knows that, because there's maybe some collaboration you could do on other loans in exchange for helping with that. Because people, when they do, Armando Cornejo, we were just talking the other day, when people do business, they prefer to do business in whatever language they're most comfortable talking. And there's a built-in trust. As soon as we force them, we start talking fast, and we just assume they're understanding every word. A lot of people don't realize you can click a button and have an application that's actually written in Spanish. You can actually have loan docs written in Spanish. I've seen Bank of America bank statements in Spanish. People are like, can anybody read these? And I'm like, okay, how do we convert those? So, but I see that more and more and more. So I love it that you're bilingual.
Absolutely. I love it too.
Do you use that for business at all? Do you do a lot of business that way?
I do. I use that a lot. And I'm very involved in the Hispanic community. Yes. And I'm very bilingual. So I speak it, I read it, I write it. And
do you eat tacos and burritos and Hispanic food, real authentic food?
Yes. Pupusas.
Oh my gosh.
That's
we moved to
Salvadorian.
Georgia, and there are some things we miss from California. I mean, every corner you could get some authentic, incredible tasting food from all different, backgrounds. Georgia, you go to and they're like, can I get a bean rice cheese burrito? And they're like, what do you want? Well, can I get your chicken burrito with just no chicken? You'll pay money for that? And I'm like, okay, come on, it's not that hard. I've had to go, I mean, it's weird. They're like, I've had to bring people out from the back, like, I'm trying to understand. You just want beans, rice, and cheese. Yeah, my wife's stomach, that's her favorite. I'll take the one with everything on it.
Right.
That was like a big deal in Georgia to
That's
get a
plain.
bean, rice, and cheese burrito. I'm like, that should be the simplest burrito on the planet. And then they end up just putting it. Here's a shell. Here's beans, rice, and cheese. And I'm like, cool. Watch this. Oh my God. Yeah, like,
That's
how much
plain
would you pay
Jane.
for something like that? That's like a kid meal. And I'm like,
Yeah. You got to
it's
add
all right.
some sauce to it, some meat, some protein.
I was just in Southern California. My sister passed away, and we were dealing with that. But when I go there,
Yes, I'm sorry
oh
about
my God, there's some. I had Mexican food like 4 times out of 6 meals. My brother's like, good Lord. And I'm like, we don't get it like this, man. It's I have a friend that he lives in Nevada, no kidding. He goes down to all these USC games. On his way back, he stops in Sacramento. I'm sorry, stops in Southern California because he's already in Pasadena. He buys all these burritos at this place called Rosa Maria's, and then he goes over and has them shipped to his house overnight, and then he gets on the plane and goes up. And I'm just like, dude, you seriously, that's a problem. You got a problem with those burritos. But I know what he's talking about. It's just not the same. There are some incredible things in California that you get outside California, you do miss some of the food. We've got a lot of barbecue and stuff here, but a lot of deep fried food, South food, Southern food. Nothing wrong with that. It has its own flavor. But I grew up, I mean, Mexican food, Hispanic food, however you want to say it. I love spicy food. I love those flavors. Oh my God. That time of year when everybody's doing their tamales, like they don't do that here. They
Yeah,
don't
ours
do
are
it here.
different because again, I'm from El Salvador, so I'm not Mexican. And Salvadorians, I mean, we have similarities.
Salvadorian. Okay. Sorry if I'm saying that
We
wrong.
have similarities in our food, but I mean, I love Mexican food too. Don't get me wrong,
But I
but
like Salvadorian better.
Salvadorian foods we have similar foods, but you have to um yeah, try it.
It's
It's one.
okay. You can say it. I like Salvadorian food. Rich. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had Salvadorian food, like specific. There you go. One tidbit. Time to open up a restaurant downtown Sacramento. Yvette's
Yeah,
Salvadorian.
I don't think so. It's not easy. I mean, those it's one of the, main foods that El Salvador, I mean, at least for me as I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
was pupusas, and they're tortillas, and they're stuffed with cheese and pork and beans. Yeah, it's a lot of it's
Oh my
really good.
gosh.
That's one of my favorites.
It's
You have
2:19. I
to
have
feel
not
it
had
and see if
lunch,
there's one
and
out
you're
there in
talking like
Georgia.
that. Gee,
So,
thanks. That sounded good. I want to cry. That sounds real good right now. Oh, I love that flavor too. Mm.
yeah, you'll have to Google it. Maybe I'll Google it for you and send it to you so you can go out there.
All
I'm
right,
sure
all right.
there has to be one out there.
There's always somebody who's going to act like it, and it's like, okay. Like I went to a place called Taco Mac, and I'm thinking, oh, they must have tacos. Like, no, no, no. I get in there, I'm like, this is like Buffalo Wild Wings. Or what's the Taco Mac? No, that's just a guy's name. Like his name
Uh,
was Taco Mac. I'm like, oh, so you don't sell tacos and burritos? And they're like, no, it's like Buffalo Wild Wing. I'm like, pardon me as I need to leave. That's not what I came in for.
oh
Um,
wow,
I can
that's
get
different.
fried chicken anywhere in town. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, we eat a lot. There's a lot of chicken places. It seems like in Georgia, where I'm at. I'm talking a lot about food because now you got me hungry. All right, let's get down to the real stuff. I want to know
Yeah.
more about you. I want to know how long have you been in the lending world, in any capacity?
Well, I started in 2001 at Beneficial Finance.
I know
So
exactly who Beneficial is.
those were the days, Beneficial Finance, and then I only at Beneficial Finance, it was, B paper, and it was only refinances. And for me, I didn't like the refinances. I wanted to help people buy homes. That was my dream. So I switched over to Countrywide. And of course, because I was bilingual and I spoke Spanish, they took me on really fast. And then they taught me the lending world, the actual helping buyers buy their first homes. That's where 2001 is when I started. So 24 years.
A lot of people don't realize what you just said when you said beneficial finance. But people, I want you to understand, beneficial had every town center had a little small beneficial in there. They all worked their local communities. That's the first time as a broker we used to broker some stuff, over to beneficial. A guy named Van Ray down in Sacramento. He was there forever. But at the time, I learned what cross collateralization was.
Hmm.
And like, hey, I just need $50,000. Cool, but you are so scary to lend on that rental property and your house. We're going to cross collateralize that $50,000 on both of them. So if you don't make that payment, we're getting paid one way or the other, and we could actually take both properties. Um, I had one where they did like 5 properties in order to put together because they took a little equity out of each one, made one big loan, but were able to tap all of them. And then they were incredible at refinancing. Household finance was the other one. They would refinance their own people. And the whole
Yes.
model was you wanted more new business versus payoff business because they were,
It
the
was
goal
bright.
was
Yeah.
2 years, get out of it and go back to being normal. But
Yeah.
they served a role. I'm not even sure what happened to them because I mean they would be good in this kind of market right now.
Well,
That was kind
you
of that
know,
subprime meltdown
yeah,
stuff.
they would be. But it was, I mean, the rates back then were like 13%. It was terrible. They were
Rates were high.
second.
They were very high,
They
double
were really
digits.
high. And the way that we would sell our borrowers or the way they would sell is they would hand out personal loans. And they have to come in and apply for the personal loan. And usually they were like 5,000. And once we would run their credit, then we would help them consolidate debt because that's the reason why they were there. It's to consolidate debt. And also they were affiliated with Levitts and Levitt's furniture, but it's gone now. But um, just like Beneficial is, but Levitt's was our biggest. They would give us their data, all of their if they ran credit with Levitts, it would be in our computer, and then it was a way for us to upsell the client and help them consolidate. So at the time, it might have been a good way, but at the same time, I just didn't feel right. I didn't like the concept of Beneficial, and so my biggest thing was to help. buyers buy homes. And so that's why I went to Countrywide. And I
A
was
lot of
there for
people
like
don't
3 years.
realize that 91 till 2008, before we had the crash, and I could sell 10 points on a first mortgage Fannie Mae, just like I did on a 10 points on a, and people are like, what do you mean 10 points, Rich? Well, the loans are a lot smaller, but literally Fannie Mae A plus borrowers, I can make 10 points
Hmm.
on that deal. And you're like, that's a lot of money. Well, you're thinking 400 or 500,000. Jumbo in September of 1991 was 186,001, but 10 points. I want 10 points on that.
That's crazy. Yeah. Wow.
And we would,
Yeah. Beneficial was like
it was
that. They
crazy.
charged like 5 points. It was crazy,
Yeah.
but it was like we didn't get like not even half of that. It was beneficial was, yeah, they used
Yeah,
us.
they kept it.
They kept it. Exactly.
Be happy you got a job. Just sell
Yeah.
the 10 points. Right on. Are you currently working on your own? Are you currently part of a team? Your name comes up on a lot of people's transactions. I know you've helped a lot of people here.
Yes, I actually work on my own. I am, I'm my own person. However, I just recently have a teammate that's going to be joining me. She's brand new.
All right.
She's been in the hard money side, and so she's wanting to learn, just like I wanted to learn at one point. First time buyers and help, um, not just first time buyers, but investors, and so she's really excited. So I'm very happy about bringing her on, and we're going to be teaming up. And she's very bilingual as well, so we'll be helping more bilingual Spanish speaking clients, hopefully.
We were talking before this because it can get really tough being on an island by yourself in this industry versus going in and being around people. I actually go into the office every day, and people are like, "Why do you drive in?" Because my mindset's different. I can hear other people around me. I can go interact. At lunch, I'll go eat in our little lunchroom, and there's usually one or two people in there, but it just puts me in my mindset, and people have talked about it. Like you can, when you're home by yourself all day long, working from a home office, we it's hard. It can be mentally hard because everything kind of is with you. Like, of course, you're going to start slipping. You're going to start wanting interaction. And I see people on our Facebook group, stuff like that. But we're seeing more and more little partnerships pop up, like what you're doing with your friend, because now you have two people that you can be on the phone all day interacting. Or if you want, come over to my house today. We're going to do it here. I'll come to yours. Or, you know, we see those groups, for the most part, possibly do better overall than just somebody who's 100% by themselves. You have to want to be by yourself, I think, to,
Mhm.
um, I don't do good by myself. It starts weighing on me. I mean, I like it for a bit, but I've got to get interaction. So my interaction might be that I'm going to a chamber event, stuff like that. But lone people that you can bounce to, okay, what are you doing? What are we doing? Okay, is that working? That's not working. I wanted to share with you some of the stuff that some of the people are telling me they're doing. You have so much coaching going on. People are like, oh, that's expensive though, Rich. And they're just going to yell at me. Their big thing is touch 25 new people a day. And they're like, ooh, that's a lot of rejection. But then I was talking to somebody and they're like, you know what? I got sick of the rejection. So what I did is, Rich, I did kind of like what you're doing. I just made a small channel and I would reach out to the agents in the area, and they just closed a deal or closed 5 deals or maybe for the quarter, and say, hey, my name's Rich Hanlin. I've got this little channel called Mortgage Ballers, and I try and interview top people or people that are doing really well in this market. Man, I'd love to interview you, and showcase you on there, because people want to know how you're doing it, and you're stroking their egos. And they're like, wow, thank you. No one ever does that. They just call me for my business. Can we have coffee? Like, I don't want more coffee. But it was kind of a backdoor way to get these people to come over, and his success ratio shot through the roof to where, hey, he could spend 4 hours a day, 10 hours a week doing these interviews with multiple agents, where before he was lucky if he got 1 out of 25 to have coffee with him. So the coaching I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you over the fear of going out and contacting people, creating conversations.
Mhm.
But then every now and then I hear someone say, you know what? I understand the value of it, but this worked better for me because this was fun to do. And they liked it. They didn't shy away from me. And you only need one or two agents to start sending you business and working with you, especially if you found other people that were Salvadorians and things like that, things that you have in common. Um, because I'll tell you right now, this same concept, but in Spanish. You know,
Yes.
it reaches a whole different crowd, a whole different clientele, and
You'll
that
have to
trust
share with
factor
me
comes in.
your
Yeah.
app and everything that you're doing because I wouldn't mind it. I would love to do it actually.
Well, there you go.
So,
There next week, I want to see him.
okay.
Power hour with Yvette. We can
Yes,
do
I
that.
like that. Power hour with it.
And I like the idea of the team. Now, even if both of you, because you're like, "Ooh, I'm nervous to do it," good. Both of you do it.
Right.
YouTube's free. You can start a channel tomorrow for free. I could show you how to do it. But both of you could interview that person, and you have an in. Because believe me, if someone knows how to speak Spanish, I couldn't do it, right? But you can, and you have somebody that maybe would prefer to have a conversation in Spanish, but yet I'm going to force them to speak English, and it's like, that built-in trust. We talked about that built-in trust. Um, Now you've talked. I was going to ask you, you've been on the broker side. I know you've been on the lender side because you've been at one of the hardest places to work, which is beneficial, selling those higher rates. Um,
Yep.
you talked about being part of a team. When you're not doing loans, when you're not trying to find that next customer, what kind of things do you like to do in your spare time? What kind of hobbies do you have? Who are you outside the loan industry?
Well, I love to dance.
There we
That's
go.
one of the
I
things
like
I
it.
like to do. So if I could find a Zumba, I Zumba a lot. I go to the gym and do Zumba, and that's yes. And then I
Okay.
get myself going. I do. I like that. So that's one of my hobbies.
All
I like
right.
to go out and walk, you know, meditate, yoga. I've been getting into yoga lately.
Okay.
The sound baths, just
I
yeah,
get
I'm
it.
in my
I
element. Yes.
find
I need it for
yourself
my
there.
mental health. So definitely those are my hobbies. Being with family.
Well, you said something earlier, and I think people can relate to it that business is business, but you're kind of self-employed in this. You're in a tough economy in this. Anybody could do anything when it's just easy. But when it's hard, and staying balanced and thinking, is there something wrong with me? Am I doing something wrong? What am I doing wrong? Oh my gosh, how am I going to have money for my paycheck? I would challenge you, make sure find that time in the morning. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. For me, I go to the gym at 5:30 and I kind of put on some music or something. I go to a different place before I know I'm gonna have to go here and turn it on, um, and that helps me. That's my time. If somebody
Right.
tried to call me during that time, I wouldn't even pick it up. My wife knows not to call me at that time because once I go in that zone, that's my time to
Yeah,
prep for the
time.
day, and then
I
I come
agree.
here, boom, I put it
Yes.
on.
Yes, I agree. And I've been doing that lately is, just beginning my day with affirmations, doing the meditation, and then getting myself out for a walk, especially with the sun out. It's so beautiful. It just gets your day going and
She lives
you
in
get a lot
California.
done.
That's why she said that. It's so
Where
beautiful outside. It's so hot outside. There's still snow in some places right now.
is it snowing in Georgia?
No, but we have cold weather that's passing through right now, so we're getting rain and cold. This time of year, when the cold weather starts leaving, the warm weather starts coming in, so you get these really crazy days. It rains in the morning, then it's like 70 degrees. It gets really humid, but we put up with it because we know the sun is coming, and we'll get those nice sunny days right around the corner.
Yes. Yes, it's sunny right now. We're gonna get some rain too. But that's good for us for the spring, for those
Yeah,
flowers to grow.
absolutely.
'Cause I love flowers. That's another hobby I like. So, I look for succulents and try to, put them together and just I do love that part too. That's another hobby I have.
I like it. I like it. You live in one of the tougher areas, well, tougher states, I should say, where things are a lot more expensive than the average state that I talk to. In your area where you live, I mean, I'm sure you can do multiple cities and stuff like that, do the whole state of California if you had to.
Right.
But what's like the average amount to get into a house with your home buyers right now?
Oh boy, an average is probably about I've seen 380, but
Wow.
it's very hard. Yeah. It has to be
That don't
450.
last too much on the market if you put something
Yeah.
for 380 out there.
Yeah, no, it's median is like 450 and above.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
say that.
380 is it's
And
tough.
where do you live at? Tell everybody.
I'm in Elk Grove, near
Yeah.
Sacramento. So
Are
about
you near the new casino in Elk Grove?
yes. And guess what? I haven't even been there. I
Somebody
think
told me
it's been
about
here
that.
for 2 years and I still have not visited. I need to.
Yeah, I used to have the one
So,
up in Roseville, Lincoln area up there, and then they said they built something down there, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that. I mean, a lot of space down there, but a lot of people have moved down that. I mean, it just keeps going down the freeway there as you continue on to Galt, and then eventually Fresno. Just keep going to Bakersfield. I mean, it just keeps filling up. all that land is eventually going to be homes and people and stuff like that. It never slows down in California.
Yes, it's just California's California.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Have you
gotten.
always lived in California?
I'm sorry?
Have you always lived in California?
Yes, yes. When my
Okay.
parents immigrated, I did live in New York for a little bit, but
Oh, wow.
California is where we've been all my life, yes.
Okay. What high school did you go to?
Fairfield High School.
You went to Fairfield. Okay. You were around that side for a while. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to Fairfield High School. I went to my first grade through eighth grade was in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and then my parents were able to buy a house in Fairfield because San Francisco's expensive. So, but now we're back
Fairfield's
to
expensive too.
San Francisco. Yes, it is.
Not expensive as one, but it's still expensive there. I
Yeah,
mean,
it is.
that cost just keeps coming as you try and get out of the city.
Yes.
So Fairfield, people drive through it all the time. Is Fairfield where those outlets are?
Vacaville.
Vacaville. Okay.
Vacaville has the outlets.
All right.
And then
Trying to
Fairfield has the
remember,
mall.
you start forgetting those things. I haven't lived there in 3 years and 1 month since I left California. So it feels like yesterday. It's gone by fast.
Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up until I was grew up all the way to going to college in Southern California. I went to Cal State San Bernardino, and then I went to play. I got drafted by the Seattle Mariners, and I played minor league baseball for 1 season, and then I came back like, okay, what I'm going to do. And my girlfriend, who eventually became my wife, she moved up and went to Sacramento State University. She's like, I ain't waiting around for you. And so she went up there. I was already done with school, and that's, believe it or not, because you said Beneficial, I moved up to Northern California to take a job at Beneficial.
So you worked at Beneficial too. Wow.
Nope, I walked in that first day, and they're like, thanks for coming up. Yeah, we already filled that position. I'm like, wait, I literally just drove here from Southern California.
Oh.
So I walked out of there. I was cool. I'll just go find another job. That would have been my first loan job, but I landed with a mortgage broker who needed a loan processor. September 1st, 1991, rates had just went down from like 8.75 to 8.25 on Fannie Mae, and he was starting to get a little busy. He's like, hey, she's just sit here. She'll teach you what to do. And her name was Elizabeth Talbot, and she could do 60 deals, and she was good. And she just said, she reviewed everything I did. We used to have to send letters out to people. This is what we need. Everything was done by mail. And that's when, underwriting guidelines, loan officers brought them in. We took them. They never saw them again. We worked with the underwriters. We wanted clean packages. We want our stuff to be right to the top of the line if they got them. So we sent in complete packages. And I became a perfectionist, I guess, because I saw how the underwriters liked that. But by accident, I got into the broker industry because I always thought, gosh, what if I would have worked at Beneficial? Who knows? I might have gone a whole different path because they worked with brokers, but that was a direct lender. Yeah, interesting. That's why you said Beneficial. I'm like, I know who Beneficial is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how long how we've been in the business, because Beneficial has been out of the business a long time. Now, they became household finance, I think,
Household finance.
and then I think it became city something.
Possibly. I remember Ford Motor Credit or Ford Credit or something. I mean, like Ford, yeah, they had like a little hard money division there for a while. We'd have guys come in from Ford or even Beneficial, like, hey, it's the end of the month. I'm not hitting my quota. We're like, okay, here's a bunch of people we're getting ready to turn down. Here's all the files. And they'd go through them. I'll take this one. I'll take this one.
That's
and I'll take this one. And here's cool. Let me call and sell it. And they would tell us, this is how I'll do it. You're going to cross-collateralize this, or they're going to have to take 2 personal loans plus a smaller loan. So I'm only going to go 30, but I'll give them 5 and 5. That'll give them a 40. But they're going to turn around and give us back 2,500 of that in cost. I'm like going, on that small of a loan? They're like, it didn't matter. Like, we're going to hit. But they would do it. And I was like, wow, you guys have that power to do it right on the spot. He's like, I have X amount of signing authority up to this. And that's the first time I ever saw that. It wasn't a turn down until they said it was a turn down. And they would come at the end of the month. And sure enough, we'd have 45 possible turn downs. And it's like, don't call them yet. Let me look at these.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'd make bigger loans too. Most of them were small, but everything was Band-Aid loans. They hoped that you never would get better. But our goal was, hey, if you could just do this for 6 months or a year, the prepayment penalty would be small because it's smaller loans. Now we can get you over here, but we got to clear this junk. We used to do a lot of tough credit back then,
Yeah. I don't know if do you know Krista Donaker from Remen?
I do know Krista.
She was my boss back then.
Beneficial?
Yeah, beneficial.
You
So
know,
when I
what's
talked
funny
to
is
her,
I didn't know she
do
worked
you
at
remember those
Beneficial.
days? Huh?
I'm going to text her after this and I'm going to give her
Yes,
hell
text her.
because I didn't know that. That's
Yes.
funny.
She was my boss back then. Yeah. She was, and I chat with her. When I see her, I give her big hugs because I'm like, do you remember those days? I mean, those days, she was
Well,
good
hell
too. She
yeah,
was a
she
good,
remember those days. That was,
yeah.
we talk about how long we've been in this industry and how much has changed over the years. And, you know, even her, she has a broker's license. She does business still on the side, stuff like that. But she works for Rimmon. Shout out to Rimmon. She does a ton of second mortgages right now in this market. I was
Yes.
amazed how many seconds they do over there. Um, but no, I've known Krista for a long time. You know, there's good people all around this industry that have been here a long time. The mindset of people who have been around longer and if it, oh, you're old, and it's like, no, back then we had to figure out, we had to understand how loans worked
Mm-hmm.
and the thought process. No one wants to make a bad loan. And then, because, you know, that hurts you too. If I set you up at beneficial, someone who doesn't pay, you know, there were relationships involved. There was trust. Okay, Rich, I normally wouldn't do this, but if you've done good for me, we're going to take a risk on this one. This is my one deal of the month. I'm going to do this risky deal on, and this is how we're going to do it. And I'm like, oh my God, these people are going to be so thankful because we can help them. Um, yeah, those were good old days
Yeah.
at one time. Now everything's so structured, you know, and it's like,
Everything's different. Yes.
ugh,
But talking about second equities, I mean, there's so much equity here in California.
ton
So
of equity pent up
yeah,
out there. I
yeah.
agree. Well, here's good news for you. I'm going to shift this a little bit because I want to bring you some good hope. Last September, rates dropped a little bit. We had our biggest month of imports. I could tell you that January, and then it kind of went down, but January, we started having record imports. February, we had our second biggest month ever. So January was our second, then all of a sudden February became the second. So January, February were second and third. Now we're off to what could be the highest month of imports. Difference of imports, applications come in, but when they're ready to go to a lender, that becomes an import. And we can see what's, you know, apps are good, but imports turn into loans. That there's something going on there. Found a house or refinance, but we're moving forward. So we're having record imports since January 1st. Normally, historically, when it's cold outside, normally it's not till March, maybe somewhere in March, maybe sometimes late February if the sun comes out early because people start getting that energy again. It's been cold and dark. And if they're going to do something, they start getting, because they want to be done if they're, you know, their kids got to be in school. So they got to
Right.
close up school year and be ready for the next one to start. They got to get in that school district. So there's a reason why certain times of the year are busier than others. But this year it hit early. Even though the economy is crazy right now, even though rates are high, people are doing stuff and it's a
Well,
little
rates are
bit all over
dropping.
the place. It's not just one place, but
Right.
something's going on out there. I would tell you this is the time to make sure you're definitely staying in front of everybody
Yes.
because people are definitely coming off the sidelines, I should say. We talked about a backward way to possibly interview these real estate agents. Um, I would say, what was the other thing that we were doing? Oh, we're putting together some coaching. We're putting together. I'm trying to find 5 or 6 different things because the truth is, everybody wants something different. I can say, Yvette, here's 5 or 6 different things. I want you to watch all of them. See if any of these maybe sound good to you because these are all working right now for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, there's only one way to do it, and it's like no, there's about 6 different things that people are doing right now that are working. Um, and we're going to do some test cases where it's like not only did this work, I actually did it this weekend. I had sign shakers out on this one street, and this was what it cost. This is what how many calls I got. This is how many applications I got, and we're going to share that kind of information, expert only, to help people try and find one deal extra a month to help get through until it just takes off. We all want one more market where it takes off. It's coming. There's a
It's
lot
coming.
going on out there
I
right
mean,
now.
we were in the
Damn.
eights and now we're in the mid, sixes. I mean, low sixes, mid sixes. I mean, it's coming.
It is
I'm
coming.
already talking to buyers that I had 2 years ago that were disappointed with those, high rates it's given them hope that their payments a little lower now too. So definitely it's the time. It's coming.
Definitely looking for anybody that did do a high rate that purchased in the last year and a half, if you can save them a half, then I have people that say, oh, you know what, I'm going to wait till everything bottoms out. It's like, well, do you have a crystal ball? Because I tell my people, if I can
Yeah.
save you a couple $100, let's lock that in. And then next 6 months, we'll lock that in. A lot of people don't realize on my loans, like, Rich, you'll have early payoffs. I'm like, well, I can lock people in up to like 60 days out if I need to. I just can't fund it. So I can have the deal done. I could even get them signed, and then we fund it on 6 months and one day. I have no problem with my lenders because I haven't activated the early payoff. But you don't have to wait unless it's VA or FHA to enter
Hmm.
into those other loans if you're going back to a VA or back to FHA. If you're coming off of those loans and going to conventional, it doesn't matter. But getting people off mortgage insurance, FHA comes with mortgage insurance, USDA comes with mortgage insurance. Like, if we can get you off of the mortgage insurance, just getting rid of mortgage insurance, you could actually possibly take a higher rate to lose
Hmm.
the mortgage insurance because you have a conventional loan. They're like, no, no. Like, mortgage insurance is like an add-on of like almost 1% to your rate.
Hmm.
Um, they just separate it as a second payment. Insurance is getting expensive. They're gonna have to figure that out. It's just
My goodness,
California is
yes, it
seeing some
is.
high. They were seeing it before I left, but man, they're gonna have to get that figured
It's
out
terrible.
soon.
Insurance is, yeah, they need to do something about that for sure because it's almost like a car payment now, so that's tough for the first time buyers for sure.
Definitely,
So I'm hoping
definitely.
that something will come up from that. But
What
yeah,
what is your favorite borrower, favorite loans to do? Do you have a specific one? I've seen you work on a lot of different things, but what's your favorite part? Why be a loan officer? If you could do anything in the world, why do you be a loan officer?
well, I like it because I like to help people. It's that feeling about really putting down all their payments and looking at what is it, especially if they're renting. I mean, I like to help first time buyers. If they're renting and their rents right now are like 2,500, 3,000, I mean, you could easily buy a house, with that payment. And most people don't know, or they're afraid, they just don't know where to start. And so that's where I like to come in. And I'm very old school. I like to meet people face to face if possible, if not over the phone, but really sharing with them the fact that they can become a homeowner, and it's an investment for their future. I mean, homes are just, they keep increasing, so it's definitely an investment for the future. And that's what I like to help first time buyers. That's my biggest thing that I like at
I
this
like
time.
it. I like it. I'm sitting there asking you a million questions, as we're finishing up. Is there anything I can answer for you? I know that we didn't talk about that, but is there anything? I'll answer anything you want to ask me. I don't care if it's personal, I don't care if it's business. I answer anything. I got nothing to hide. I just want to throw that out there. Is there anything I can answer for
Well,
you?
I just want to thank you for your time because it's, I've been with you guys for 2 years, and I met, we went to that success track, and got to know you a little bit better there with Nate, and this allows us to get to know each other even more. I mean, there's a lot of brokers out there that are always calling and, saying, hey, we got this, we got that. Um, we have this new AI because I went to a mortgage
Everybody's
expo
got new AI.
recently, and SunWest is, selling on their Angel AI, and as long as we do business with them, that we can use their Angel AI, to help us with doing flyers, to doing open house flyers. And I've tried it out. It's taking them a while to put it together, but it's nice to have this personal touch because you're gonna win your loan officers. So I thank you
Well,
for.
I'm not trying to. I want to be real clear because people are like, "Why are you doing this, Rich?" I'm like, "Well, I like to do this. Number one, I have 620 people. I hate that I don't know them or know something personal about them. Typically, what's nice is once I have a one on one, I'll remember. Suppose, what do I remember about you? I don't know. I'll remember a little something about you. It's like she likes to dance. I got a person that likes to sing. I got a Rubik's Cube guy that's like a national Rubik's Cube in 8 seconds.
Oh, no
Um,
way.
we got a guy that he enjoys cooking. Because of COVID, he got stuck in. He's like, I started learning how to cook. I love cooking. And he started naming them off. I'm like, what? I don't know anything about that. But I have another guy. Without talking to him, I never would have known that. And he's young. Him and his wife are young, and they've adopted 4 kids because they're like, we just have a huge heart for kids. I'm like,
Wow.
There's so much more than just saying, oh, here's your loan officers. I'm like, no, there's these incredible people that do a lot of incredible things. You're bilingual. That's huge in this, especially the market you're in. And anybody that watches this, loan officers, Xpert Home Lending, if you need some collaboration, never turn down a possibility of a business. Just give her a call and say, hey, can I bring you in on this transaction? You're going to pay her. You're going to split some of that money because she's going to make that deal work. I'm on record to say that. Don't be cheapskates. But you have these incredible tools, use them, because that blesses somebody else. Maybe when she's having a slow month, if she's collabing on 2 or 3 deals. Arturo Solis talked about that. That's how he got brought into a team. So teams out there, if you don't have somebody that is bilingual and you need somebody, hey, she could work on the outside of multiple teams, right?
Definitely. Yes.
Without giving up her identities. That's those partnerships that in doing this, I learned, I go, oh, someone's calling. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Arturo's on some teams. Did Yvette on there? I mean, I always say her last name wrong. I was going to say Preet Kalari, but she speaks like 14 languages. I'm like,
Wow.
good Lord. I got a guy tomorrow that speaks, I don't know if it's Russian or Ukrainian or something like that. We'll find out tomorrow. But, there's a built-in trust, and it's just something that you're helping people with the biggest transaction of their life. It's a scary thing, especially if you weren't born and raised here. You're taking a huge step. And it's incredible to have somebody take you by the hand. Norma Souza, she takes them by the hand and says, let me walk you through. And I see her work in that market. So I'm proud of all you guys. I appreciate your partnership. I know you can work anywhere. I know it's not easy. You're so close to seeing the other side. And this would be the time I'd say, keep doing yourself every day, keeping your head on straight, but keep watching. Something's going on out there and something's going to give. And unfortunately, there's going to be some hardship involved with some owners, but those properties will lead to opportunity for other buyers. We're going to have to help facilitate that, because there was over 400,000 of you. Now there's only like 93,000 licensed people left since 2021. Less than 28% of last year's licensed real estate agents did at least one transaction. A lot of people have left the industry and or put their licenses on inactive right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, they think they're just going to flip a switch and jump right back in. But this industry changes so much every like 5-6 months. Artificial intelligence, like you were talking about, the way we do business. You don't just walk in and go, hey, I need your business. They're like, who are you? So-and-so's just helped me on my last 6 transactions. They've earned it. I'm not just going to just give it all away. So I'll tell you, hang in there. We're going to start doing a once a week. I got 2 more weeks of these interviews, and then it drops off, because out of 620 people, only 126 said yes. Always the way. But I'm going to do a 1-hour meetup every week where we talk about what's working. Like people, like what is actually working. I'm going to do test cases on some different advertisements and things like that to share with you guys. How are we getting business? How are people getting business? And we're going to ask people to share a little bit of that, because someone in Wyoming isn't going to hurt you in California. You're not going to overlap, but there's enough business out there.
There's enough business.
There's enough business.
Even here in California, even with my neighbor that's doing loans, there's enough business for everybody. God helps everyone.
Your neighbor's doing loans?
I'm just saying.
Okay, I was going to say, give me that address. We're going to have a little talk with that neighbor. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'm just saying, there's enough business for everyone. God gives everyone a chance. So I believe in that. There
is. And you're going to be in the right place at the right time. At least that's my hope and my prayers for everybody, because I want you to have the life that you want, that you've trusted this platform. It's not about just me. It's about all of us getting something out of it. And that's what's wrong with the industry, is there's too many people over here at the owner or broker, and they just prey on the people of the direct lender. All these people have to just work. And it's like, but they're bringing in the business. Let's balance that out. Make sure everybody's getting blessed, because those are the best stories. That's what I'm going to remember when I'm gone, is people saying, oh my gosh, your platform changed my life. I went through that 5-year run starting in 2025 when the rates dropped, and I've never made that kind of money before in my life. I made more money in a 5-year period than I did 20 years before that. Now I get it. And I'm like, cool. Now let's teach you how to hold on to it, because don't just be spending it all down at the casino now that you got money.
I haven't even visited it, so I don't know what it looks like. I need to. I want to.
All right. All right. Well, I thank you so much for your time, Yvette. I appreciate it. I
Thank you
know that
too.
I snuck this one in on you. We thought we were going to do a phone and I started pushing record, but it was well worth it. You shone through so well, and I think people are going to love listening to your heart, listening to your thoughts. They can relate to you, both loan officers maybe looking for a home, as well as any borrowers that come across, knowing that you've got their back. I can hear it in your voice. You've got their backs. I appreciate you being here with Xpert, and I appreciate you spending time with me here today.
Thank you. I appreciate your time too. Thank you so
All right.
much. Take
Well,
care.
everybody, that's what we do. We do interviews. We bring them to you. Today was Yvette Garay. Am I saying it right?
Yes, Yvette Garay. Garay.
There it is. Say it right. Pound it out. You
Yeah.
know what? Mortgage Ballers is about finding the one more loan, talking technology, talking what's working, talking what's not. It's about helping loan officers get to that next deal. If everybody could just find one more deal a month in this market, hey, we're all going to get to that 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 extra deals. But right now, that same conversation's happening. We got to find ways collaborating and sharing what's working. There's more than enough business. That's what Mortgage Ballers is about, is uniting it wherever you're at. We got 44 states, and I've got conversations every day that mirror exactly what you're going through. So everybody pay attention. If you need to collaborate with Yvette, if you need somebody on your team that can speak Spanish and help you in those, at least get her name and number. I'll put it in the bottom, and we'll make sure it's on our group. Do not allow business to walk out the door. Know your tools and what people's strengths are, and make sure you have them on Rolodex. If you still have a Rolodex, get them in your phone, push that button and bring her in and get those collaboration. Arturo Solis to different people, Norma Souza doing these kind of things. There is a ton of business out there. Do not put yourself in a box and just, I only can help people that do this. It's like, no, no, no. Anything that walks to your door, you hear
Right.
it. Hey, find someone that can help you bridge that gap, because maybe you're great at loans, but you don't speak Spanish. Now you put the two together and you have transactions. And we have people that are exploding in that market right now. And we're going to have one of the top Telemundo advertisers who's just recently came to Xpert. We're going to catch an interview with him. The guy can do 25 deals a month, and he only specializes in that Spanish speaking market. So we got some incredible speakers coming at you here very quickly. So one day at a time, that's all we can do. All right, Yvette, like we always
Sounds
say when
good.
we shut down a mortgage baller conversation, we got one thing. You know what we say? Come on, you
What do
got
you
to know what
say?
we say. You're
What do
not
you
sticking
say?
around watching my videos. All right. You're going to be a part of this. Everybody, when we shut down a mortgage baller interview, we always say the same thing. Stay thirsty, my friends. All right. Take care, Yvette.